Yeah, Steph, you've obviously have a lot of experience playing against Liga MX teams. I don't know what kind of I don't know how do you go approach these games in terms of testing yourself, but also knowing that this is just keeping it. Also, this is just another opponent.
Yeah, it's another opponent. It's a really good opponent. I mean, it's a big team, a big name. A lot of good players. All the way from the back, all the way to the front. Some familiar faces for us, obviously. Chukwumakis, Bogusz, some of the cream of the crop from this league that have made a move. And you sprinkle in other guys like, Rotondi and I mean, Mier in the back is good with his feet. Every goalkeeper would aspire to play like that. So they're stacked. So we're excited to be able to play against a team of that caliber. And obviously we're at home first, so we want to put our best foot forward and have a good performance tomorrow.
Jackson Phelps.
Brian, obviously, as Steph mentioned, they are a stacked team roster-wise. Stylistically, how do you think the styles will go against each other on the field tomorrow?
Good. I mean, look, they're well coached. Actually, an MLS connection, Vicente Sanchez. I had some time in Colorado and Houston and Rio Grande and everything, and good for him. His coaching career has gotten off to a really good start. They can play. They can play direct because they got two big number nines. Their goalkeeper likes to come out and help them in their possession. We like to press. So there'll be some cat and mouse situations where we can't get stretched, but we do want to put pressure. We are at home. We want to create some tempo, some excitement with the fans. So it'll be a really interesting match.
Aaron, go ahead.
Brian, there was one certainty coming into the season. There was going to be a lot of matches in a short amount of time and a lot of travel. What is the challenge in terms of, with so much so quickly to start this year?
Well, 3-7. I don't know if we've ever had 3-7 and 4-11 games if you throw in St. Louis there at the end. So yeah, it's compressed. Health of the players, the games, deep squad. I mean, we've thrown everything up on the board. We've talked to our sports science guys. I think we have a good plan, but the plan that's up on the blackboard could change, depending on the scores of the game, the outcome of the game, and we don't want to forget about, LAFC sandwiched in between because they were our bogey team last year. We want to do well against them. We haven't started our league season off so well. So lots of intriguing storylines there, just about how we manage the group going through these three and then the fourth game.
Jose.
Steph, from a leadership standpoint, how do you help along your teammates to understand not only the congestion but the severity and the magnitude of his matches coming up against them?
Yeah, I think obviously the fact that we've been successful in this tournament before and we have players who were there during that period, they take great pride in that. And I think guys who are with the squad now and maybe weren't part of that squad back then, they wouldn't mind achieving that, having that achievement on their belt as well. So in terms of experience, I mean, whenever you face a Mexican side, I think they're exceptionally aggressive, very goal driven. They don't beat around the bush. They really go for goal. And so the tension is going to be high. There isn't much room for error. So it's probably a good thing for us to get we've made some errors in the past, some little lapses here and there, which, to be fair, is kind of to be expected in the beginning of the season. It's what it is, but maybe some good wake-up calls, because I think, like I said, Mexican sides, they will pounce on that. They smell blood, they'll go for it. So I'm confident that we have enough leadership that has experienced that before, to pass that along to guys that haven't.
Yeah, Brian, how close do you think you are to figuring out your best 11? And I guess connected to that, how is it even important right now for you to have a best 11 because of sort of the juggling that you have to do with multiple competitions?
I don't think it's important that I have a set 11, because again, the fixture rotation, the fixture congestion, and then squad rotation. That's what I meant to say. But we'll get there. I mean, look, I'm learning Jesus and Paul, their strengths. Pedro is kind of like a new player. He's been really good, very exciting to watch. And yeah, there's going to be good, healthy competition along the way. There might be some bumps in the road as we get through mid-season, but right now it's not clear, and it doesn't need to be clear.
Nico, go ahead.
it's been a few games where you've been playing a 4-back and then a 3 and kind of a shadow 5-back with the team. If you could talk about which one are you leaning more towards for 2025 and what you think has been going well with it, with both. And if you could give, on a separate note, an update on Reed Baker-Whiting.
Reed's fine. He's still in the injury protocol. As far as tactics and lineups and team shape, whether we play with 4 or 5, the shape is similar in a lot of different ways. So again, you guys can dissect that. The challenges come from, just like Steph mentioned, I think that's actually an astute point. You're going to be a good coach one day. It's still early in the season. Maybe there are a couple of, nervy moments. Guys will get sharper the more games we play, and we hope to eliminate some of those mistakes. And, we need to try and keep a clean sheet, no away goals, and then try and score a couple.
All right, we'll go to Jose next, but we'll probably head to Zoom after. So if you are on Zoom and would like to ask a question, please use the hand raise function. But Jose, go ahead here in the room before we switch to digital.
Coach, what are some of the things that, from a stylistic standpoint, make Cruz Azul a challenge for the way and the philosophy of your team?
Well, they're a good team, like Steph said. The players from Liga MX, they are excellent technically. Little give and goes, 1-2s, and then they've added a couple of guys in Bogusz and Giamakis that, are used to MLS play. And so they can be direct, they can be powerful, they can be runners as well. So again, overall, it's a very good team, and we'll see which lineup they present, and that might dictate how they play.
Nico Moreno, on Zoom, you're being allowed to talk now. So go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. Had a question for both Brian and Steph. For Steph, I wanted to know, as a captain, how do you deal with some of the adverse results that you've had in league play and some of those adverse moments that you've had kind of back to back with some of those own goals? And for Brian, I just wanted to know, maybe it's because Ferrer was the big acquisition of the offseason. He seems like he hasn't played a lot. He played 74 minutes in one, 65 in the other. Is there a particular reason why he hasn't been more involved in more games? Thank you.
I mean, I've been very adamant that every year is a new journey, a new adventure, and you got to go through your ups and downs together to be able to be ready for crunch time at the end of our season, or when you make it down deep in the tournament. So learning experiences are what we need. We need some things where people make mistakes, other people can help them out, dig them out, or someone makes a mistake, have their back, stick together, grow together, and accomplish something together. That's the only way it's going to work. And so every year that process begins anew. We put in a lot of work in preseason to try to make sure that we are together, and the journey continues. So I'm not too worried about mistakes. I've never had a perfect game my whole life, never will I. It's just a matter of believing in each other, staying together, and wanting to achieve something.
To answer your question, Nico, Jesus is a tremendously talented player, and it's just the way the games have played out. I can use him in an example in this 3-game week. I mean, no players, not even the goalkeeper. They have a tough job as well. 3 games in 7 days, that's a lot. And it's early in our season. So if Jesus doesn't start this game, maybe he starts the next 2. Or if he plays 1, rests 1, starts the back end of the week, there's going to have to be some rotation. So Jesus is going to be fine. He's going to start a lot of games for us, and he's going to score a lot of goals because he's a tremendous player.
Next on Zoom, we'll go to Felipe Maqueda.
Thank you, Matt. Coach Brian, Sounders faced Cruz Azul back in the days in the old CONCACAF format, and the result wasn't good for Sounders. But the competition has been changing, and now the Seattle Sounders have won the competition. The CONCACAF puts the Seattle Sounders a little bit on another level to the rest of the league's team in the league. How do you communicate that importance to your players like the newcomers and the younger players in your team?
I'll try and answer that in two ways. Look, it's this, yes, we have been the only MLS team that has pushed through all the way, but there's been a lot of good performances by MLS teams. Traditionally, the Liga MX teams were the favorites, or, you know, they were always winning the tournament. Now it's a little bit different. Now we've broken through, but there's been some near misses by other MLS teams. They've gotten to finals and played well. So I think the leagues are starting to even out, even though Liga MX teams, you know, don't have a salary cap. What I would say about acclimating new players to our club and the winning traditions that we have. Normally in my preseason meeting, we show a photo of how many trophies we've won. There are stories in the locker room that these guys tell to the new players, because sometimes when it comes from me, it's a little different than when it comes from your teammates. So there's lots of little ways that we make sure that the people understand. You can go out in the stadium and see the banners that are out there. And, you know, those are all visual signs that the players understand.
Looks like that's it for Zoom. Before we close, any final questions here in the room? It's like one more over here.
Coach George from Thundercast. So you're going to be playing on the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but at the same time you have the UEFA Champions League, and you have PSG and Athletic Madrid, which you're going to play at the Club World Cup. Are you already looking at those games, or are you still waiting for the summer
Well,
to come?
we'll wait a little bit. We have many league games and matches before those games, but we did when we were in Spain. Myself, Freddie Juarez, one of our assistants, our technical director, Henry, and John, one of our video guys, got to take in a match in Madrid. They're actually playing probably right now. So we got to get back in there and watch that game. So we're paying attention, but look, those games are kind of like icing on the cake. It's an honor for us to represent the league, ourselves, the Seattle Sounders. We'll tackle that when it gets a little closer.
All right, with that, that'll conclude today's Matchday -1 press conference.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for everybody coming. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you all tomorrow.